Anxiety and depression in kids are an all-time high. Therapy, medication, mindfulness apps, parents are trying everything. But what if we're treating the symptoms and missing the root cause? Today I'm revealing what psychologists aren't talking about. I'm going to give you a completely different lens to look at anxiety and depression and give you 4 proven ways to bring back meaning into your child's life so they can overcome anxiety and depression. My name is Afad Amira. I'm a mom of 3 boys and a parenting coach. I am passionate about integrating the tools and wisdom I have learned on my own personal and spiritual journey into the way that I raise my children and sharing those insights with you. If you appreciate this type of knowledge, please hit the like button below so other people can find it as well. So I want to start by talking about what we're doing now and why it isn't working. In today's world, we view anxiety and depression through a psychological lens. When we look at those issues from the psychological view, we focus on how the mind and brain works. We think about nervous system dysregulation, cognitive distortions, developmental experiences, behavioral patterns, trauma and attachment, brain chemistry and genetics. The core belief when we're looking at anxiety and depression through the lens of psychology is that something in the system is dysregulated and we need to reduce symptoms by rewiring thoughts, emotions, and behavior. Some tools that are used in the therapy world are therapy, CBT, somatic work, coping skills, structure, emotional support. So for kids, anxiety can be an overactive internal system. Depression can be a shutdown from chronic overwhelm. And the solution will be creating safety, skills, routine, and support. Now, all of these are real and important. I'm not trying to undermine these, but they're not the whole story because mental health issues keep increasing. I want to look at the data from Jonathan Haidt's website, The Anxious Generation, where he shows us that there is a huge rise in major depressive episodes in the last year. He also shows us that there is a high percentage of US undergraduates with mental illness like anxiety, depression, ADHD, bipolar, anorexia, substance abuse, and schizophrenia. He shows us that there is a rise in the percentage of anxiety prevalence, and there is a rise of US emergency department visits for self-harm ages 10 to 14, especially in girls. Huge rise in US teen suicide rate ages 15 to 19, mostly among male teens. And he also shows us that this is not only true for the US, but also for the UK, Australia, New Zealand, Europe, and in general, these are trends that we are seeing worldwide. So if up until now we have had that psychological awareness and we have been treating our kids, giving them more therapy than before, we're much more aware of emotional challenges among kids. Both teachers are aware of it, parents are aware of it, but still we have this huge rise in those conditions. So what I want to suggest is that we need to take the psychological lens off and put on a different way of looking at things. And here I want to invite you to look at the conditions through the lens of logotherapy. Logotherapy is a psychological school of thought that was founded by Viktor Frankl, who is a Holocaust survivor, and he created this new way of understanding human behavior through the lens of meaning. So in logotherapy, anxiety and depression is viewed as a lack of meaning. Viktor Frankl and logotherapy focuses on meaning, purpose, and responsibility. And I'm quoting Viktor Frankl in saying that human beings suffer when they lack meaning. Anxiety and depression often signal a vacuum, a loss of purpose, direction, or responsibility. He says that modern people struggle with an existential vacuum, which is a sense of emptiness when we don't know what we're living for. What I want to argue is that today's kids feel this vacuum intensely, and here is why. The first reason is that life for kids is too easy. Kids don't face challenges like they used to, like walking alone to a friend's house, navigating mistakes without adults fixing everything. They don't deal with losing too much. They don't handle natural consequences, and they can't figure out conflicts independently because adults many times are the ones who are in charge and managing kids' situation and micromanaging children throughout the day. So these small hardships that build resilience, confidence, and identity, now kids are being protected from. And as a result, they feel fragile and empty. The second reason why our kids are lacking meaning in our society is they have a lack of identity and belonging. Many kids don't feel a part of anything bigger than themselves. Families often don't have strong traditions, roles, or shared values. So children look at peers or social media for belonging. But that kind of belonging is shallow, unpredictable, and often unsafe. Kids need a strong sense of meaning, a sense of belonging and responsibility. They need those things to build their identity. So what are 4 ways that we can build back meaning into our children's lives and help them overcome anxiety and depression that comes from a lack of meaning in their life? My solution comes from Jewish wisdom. Jewish philosophy uses the metaphor of a tree to explain the core human qualities that give a person meaning. Meaning comes from alignment, acting in ways that reflect the deepest parts of who we are. Here are 4 pathways to meaning with concrete examples for kids. The first one is growth. The human need to develop strength. Humans feel alive when they grow. Kids need to experience their own capabilities. So practical examples for growth for kids are, for younger kids, is learning how to tie their shoes, pour milk, clean the room. For older kids, it will be handling a tough homework assignment without you rescuing them. It will be practicing skills like the piano, soccer, art, or coding. It will be facing fears like ordering food for themselves, making a phone call that they're scared to make, or speaking to a neighbor. It can be working through frustration instead of quitting. Every challenge that is conquered by them, one more brick of their sense of identity is built. That's how kids grow. That's how they feel meaningful. Another really important aspect to remember here is that we need to challenge our children also in their behavior. So we want to help them grow in their behavior, meaning that if they behave in a way that is maybe selfish, ungrateful, we have to help them elevate from those states and show them that there is another way to look at things. In general, we have to show our kids that they are much more capable than they think in their physical skills, mental skills, academic skills, but also in their behavioral skills. The second way to bring back meaning into our children's lives is help them be productive. Human beings need to contribute. We are not built just to receive. We are built to produce, to create, and to contribute. Kids gain meaning when they know that they make things happen, that their contribution matters. Here are some practical examples of productivity for kids. Having daily or weekly chores, laundry, dishes, trash, setting up the table, taking care of a pet, feeding, walking, cleaning, running small household tasks, getting the mail, organizing shoes, helping prepare dinner or pack lunches, taking ownership of their morning or bedtime routine, working on a project, building, drawing, baking, crafting, gardening. When kids create or contribute, they see themselves as capable and important. This kills the existential vacuum more than anything else. I invite you to listen to a different episode where I talk more deeply on how to get our kids to do more responsibilities around the house. You can find the link up here. The third way to bring meaning into our children's lives is by getting them to help others. Because as humans, we need to give. We have to step away from the mindset of we need to get our kids to feel good all the time and change it to the mindset of we have to get our kids to do good. According to Jewish thought, giving is built into our spiritual DNA. Kids feel deep meaning when they make life better for someone else. So some practical examples of helping others for kids: helping a sibling with homework, visiting or calling a grandparent, making a card for someone who's sad, donating toys or clothes, helping carry groceries without being asked, holding the door for someone, including a lonely child at school, volunteering as a family. When children see themselves as givers, not just takers, something shifts inside of them. They feel bigger, braver, and more grounded. The fourth way of bringing back meaning into our children's lives is by helping them build genuine relationships. We as humans have a deep need for connection. Humans are made for real connections, not social media connections, not more likes, more followers, or any filtered, unreal interactions. They need real, meaningful relationships. Here are some practical ways to build genuine relationships for kids. Have family dinners without phones. Have one-on-one connection time with each parent. Have weekly family rituals, Friday night dinner, pancake mornings, Sunday walks, teaching kids to apologize well and repair relationships, modeling healthy communication, encouraging friendships with kids who share values, having play dates without screen, having longer play dates than usual. Try not to have the play date in between activities so that then you're rushing from one place to another, not giving your kids the opportunity to really dive into a relationship with somebody, to get into a conflict and overcome it. Kids need a lot of time with their friends in order to develop those real strong relationships. When kids feel truly connected, they feel safe, anchored, and meaningful. So bringing this all together. Through the psychological lens, anxiety and depression comes from dysregulation and unmet needs. But I want to view things from a different lens, which is the lens of logotherapy. Through this lens, anxiety and depression grow when kids lack growth, contribution, service, connection, identity, responsibility, belonging. Kids aren't just struggling, they're signaling that they need more, they need to grow, they need to know that they matter, they need to contribute, they need real relationships. When we give kids real meaning, not just comfort, not just pleasure, we build resilience from the inside out. If you found this episode helpful, make sure to watch another episode where I talk about building a strong family culture in the home.